Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin, Master Certified Life Coach and Mindset Coach.
I'm Sandra Priestley. I'm a business and branding coach. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. We made it.
I know. I am, like you can see, I'm super casual today. It has been so hot in Alberta, way up here. I always forget to check, but like 30 degrees Celsius, which has got to be like, I don't know, 85, 87 Fahrenheit.
Yet you're in a sweatshirt.
Well, today it is like, I don't know, like 10
it's not hot today.
degrees. It's freezing. It's gone from like sweltering hot to absolutely freezing. And I've got to check the weather. But anyway, so I'm wearing a hoodie. Okay, it's not hot. It's not that cold. Oh, yes, it is. It's 11 degrees. Okay, so that's maybe 45 Fahrenheit.
Okay, that's chilly.
Like, how did it go that far?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm wearing a hoodie, if you call them that.
Yes.
In the US.
Okay.
I come from Saskatchewan and we used to call them bunny hugs.
Oh.
So I still
that's kind of sweet.
Isn't it? I know. It's Saskatchewan girls. We're awesome.
Who doesn't want to wear a bunny hug?
Oh, so cute. And I'm also drinking beer and Clamato juice, which I used to drink all the time when I lived in Saskatchewan. So
you're reminiscing today.
I am.
I love it.
Yeah. What are you drinking today?
So I am what I intended to be drinking today was a Montepulciano. And
celebration wine.
It is. Today is our 9th We Still Do anniversary. So 9 years ago today, we renewed our vows.
Wow.
And it was absolutely amazing. And I would do it every year if I could. So it's a good day. So he bought me the Montepulciano this weekend, and I thought, well, he's home. Let's open it and share a glass before we go have dinner.
Yeah.
And I opened the wrong wine. So instead of Montepulciano, beer, it's still a Dukeman, so it's still one of my favorites. It's a Canto Felice.
Okay. I've never heard of this before, but
yes. And it's good. It's just a little sweet for my taste.
Oh. Well,
but actually it tastes really good right now.
Okay.
So
second sip, second glass, always better.
Always better. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What a week.
So what are we talking about? What are we talking about today?
Well, I think we need to talk about the vortex because I have caught myself in the vortex this week with a lot going on. Like both of my kids are going through their own struggles right now. And it's so interesting to watch myself because I'm like, what's the solution? What is this leading you to? Where is this taking you? Nothing ever happens in life, especially that we perceive as not ideal in the moment, that isn't taking us to that next place. It's leading us somewhere.
Absolutely.
And I've had this I'm telling you, if this scenario had happened a year ago, I would be in the fetal position, completely wigging out.
Oh my God. Wow.
So I'm kind of talking to myself going, hey, are you really okay? Are you stuffing this? Are you ignoring this? Are, trying to figure out, like, am I doing something unhealthy? Because I'm really at peace with everything. And I know everything's going in the direction it is supposed to go. So I'm kind of feeling my way through it going, no, I'm really, really okay. And so,
I choose badass.
Yeah. Patting myself on the back, like, look at you in the vortex.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, it's a great feeling, but it's also not a great feeling when you get kicked out of the vortex. And I got my little ass kicked out of the vortex this weekend. And it wasn't a momentary um, pissed offness.
Yeah.
It was stewed upon telling the story. And what happened is someone made some derogatory comments about some of my family. And I did say, well, that's really an inappropriate thing to bring up here. But it wasn't enough because I was still mad.
Yeah.
And what I should have said is, what do you mean by that? Because
They
we
said
just
this,
had this conversation.
they said this to you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
my.
Very
Okay.
judgy and very loud and very proud. And my eyes were about this big. And I know my face was going, what the fuck is coming out of your mouth at this moment? I mean, I know my face, and I was not really going to great lengths to disguise it.
Right.
So the conversation, and it was a quick conversation. I'm telling you, it was 3 minutes maybe. And I sort of excuse myself, and I'm just fuming, completely angry. And in the moment, I'm like, Leigh, you just got out of the vortex. And so I'm trying to coax myself back in by making this person wrong. Well, this person says these things because that's how they live their life and that's how they judge themselves. And oh my God, that must suck to have to judge yourself like that every day and live with that. And you should just feel sorry for them. And I'm like, well, that doesn't give me any comfort. So it's not about that. And I keep stewing on it. Like I'm telling you, I go to bed, I wake up the next morning, and I'm still stewing and tossing and turn and just regurgitating 3 minutes of a day, Sandra.
Wow.
3 minutes. And I keep trying to make what they said okay, or make them wrong or less than or judgy, or to make myself feel better. And that's not pulling me in the vortex, that's just keeping me out.
Yeah.
And then you know what came up? You care more about what they think than you do about how you feel. And you cannot control what they think. All you can control is how you respond.
Absolutely.
And just because they say those things and they think those things has nothing to do with you. So why are you stewing and worrying and making this so much bigger? Because girl, I was making it big.
I love this because I hate being the only asshole. Like,
Oh, we're all
because
assholes.
I absolutely can I have felt exactly the same as you. I have felt like I have maneuvered some of the most intense things, the biggest things, the biggest I don't know, issues that, and I thought, like, I am a rock star. How am I oblivious? Like, how is it possible that I am managing this so well, in so much control, in so much neutrality, that I am like just sliding through like a rock star? And then also, I have been a complete loon.
Yeah.
Like, especially, and I find, especially when it happens to be something said about my kids or my husband, like even, or my friends, not so much myself. Myself, for some reason, not that I take what someone else says about me to be true, but I think I've just, I don't know, prepared myself better. I'm not sure. But when someone says something else, something to me that is awful, or something happens with my family, I go down the rabbit hole so easily, and I stew about it, and I make it mean things, and I tell stories, and I create a timeline to the worst place scenario. and I start feeding visualizations of it, you know, like
Yeah. Making
but
it bigger and bigger. And yeah,
yeah. And the thing that I always have to remind myself is that judgment is not truth.
correct.
Because I feel like when someone says something and it hurts, right? It's that emotional tie to it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to always remind myself that it's judgment is not truth. It's
Mm-hmm.
just not truth.
Mm-hmm.
And they get to have their bullshit opinions. They got to be an ass.
Yeah.
And I don't have to eat it.
Yeah. We don't have
But
to rub it on our face.
right, but sometimes it takes us a while because we've got that like, this is unfair. How dare you hurt my babies or, you know, someone that I love? How dare
Yeah.
you say that? Who do you think you are?
Mm-hmm.
Where's
Oh,
it?
you think you're so
So,
much better?
yeah, let
Let
me
me
point
tell
out
you
all
all
your
the things wrong
flaws.
with you.
Yeah. Why can I like how can I slash your tires? Like I go to yeah, I know.
But it highlights where we need to work.
Mhm.
And so that's a gift.
Absolutely.
It is but it's going to require work. But it showed me a weakness that I have, my weak spot
Mhm.
that needs to be healed. And I need to get to a point where people can say things and I don't take it. Not
Right.
that I fight back, but it doesn't pierce me.
Or right. Or well, maybe I'm wrong on this. I don't know. This truly is like happy half hour here because I'm not sure, but what I tend to try to do is hear the thing that gives me that trigger and feel the feelings. And the power is feeling the feelings and then not telling the stories. So just allow myself to feel it. Just allow myself to feel hurt, to feel wronged, to feel misjudged, to feel like that it was unfair or awful and feel the feelings and then just not tell the stories because I end up just getting bored of feeling it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing that keeps us there, the thing that keeps us there isn't the feeling itself, it's the stories that we tell to feed the feelings,
Correct.
right?
Which is the dopamine hit that comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, I was just getting a bunch of dopamine hit from a shitty
Oh,
ass story that I was telling.
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
But I feel like, you know, feeling it is okay.
yeah. Well, and I don't think we need to stuff it,
No.
but we don't need to make it mean shit that it doesn't mean because it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
It's not about
Exactly.
me.
Right. Exactly. But it is so interesting because we were talking last week after we recorded the podcast and I had told you this story about how I was making this up in my mind. And I swear I watched as an observer of my emotions, my response, my feelings, my thoughts. And that was probably one of those in the vortex more powerful moments.
Uh-huh.
But I could have gone to like the way other side. And it was because probably 4, 5, 6 podcasts ago, we were recording and I was yapping. I don't even know what I said, but I said the word motherfucker. And what happened was when I said it, all of a sudden, there you are going, no, 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 no. And like you were crossing your arms and you said, I can't hear you. And I'm thinking, oh no, did she like, am I not, maybe that's a bad word. I shouldn't have said that. Is that socially inappropriate? And I just don't know yet. Oh gosh, I am such trash as I wear my my bunny hug,
You're
but I'm
right.
such trash, right? Like I started telling these stories like, oh my gosh, Leigh is like so wonderfully put together. Why did I have to say that word? She must have not wanted that in the podcast. And like, I felt that thought. I could feel it right away. And then I like had to quickly get into, okay, what was I talking about? And I start again. And I remember thinking, wow, that's interesting that I felt that. I wonder what Leigh really felt like. Maybe she just didn't hear me. And that was just a really weird coincidence. And so I had it in the back of my mind, but I felt it immediately. And I stopped telling stories. I just decided that I was going to choose the story that gave me peace.
Mm-hmm.
And the story was what you were telling me, which was, I can't freaking hear you. Right?
Yeah.
So I chose to believe that story. And then was it last week? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago? Was it on a podcast?
Yes.
You're talking and I can't remember what
I
you're
said,
saying.
not today, motherfucker.
Right. And I swear I hadn't thought about it for a few weeks, but as soon as you said it, I was like internally gleeful. I was like, oh, good. She really didn't hear me. A, B, I'm not alone.
You're not. You're
I'm
not.
not alone. And I just felt so just like, thank goodness I didn't worry about it for 4, 5,
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Typically, I'm the person though that will like, I forgot about it kind of, right? And then when you said the word, it brought it up again.
Uh-huh.
But typically I'm the person that would like, as soon as we got off the recording, I would say, okay, I'm really sorry. Did you hear me? Like, I'm sorry that I said that. Why am I such a loser? Like, I would address it right away.
Sure.
But it's interesting how something completely benign, we can tell these stories to make it something different and something about how we're not enough.
Yes. And it's interesting because when you told me this story, I was laughing because literally you went quiet. And so that's why I was trying to tell you, I cannot hear you. Stop. Because
Yeah,
literally, you know how Zoom does sometimes. We lose connection. We have to piece things back together.
exactly.
But it made me look at stories that I have told, things that have happened, a glance from somebody, a note that
Yeah.
I read stuff into, that I make into this big giant piece of
Yeah.
shit
Mm-hmm.
that's not even real. But I feel with every fiber of my being that it's real. And
Yes.
then I behave, I show up like it's real. And that's usually in fear and feelings of not enoughness.
Yes.
And then I'm beating myself with the bat over
Mm-hmm.
something that's not even there.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And don't you find texts and emails and DMs are the worst
Yes.
because you can't hear tone
Mhm.
and we can infer things, right? Like I know I will text something to my daughter and she will say, "Why did you just say that?" And I'm thinking, "Wait a minute, what did I just say? I don't know." Look, and it was
Let me
totally
check.
I didn't mean anything that she assumed that it meant.
Well, it's like the letter K is supposed to be like for okay, is supposed to be I'm pissed off, K.
I know. And
And
I
I
do it
learned
all
that the
the
hard way.
time. I do it all the time. Or K and then I like space, but it gives me a dot after the K. That apparently is even worse. Like, who knew?
Class that teaches you what's offendable on text. How do they know
And,
this?
and is it
Yeah.
like a child in grade 7 that does it? Like that gives the class? I feel maybe. I don't know because
Yeah.
I started just saying to my daughter, I just choose to not make it mean that.
Yeah.
So I'm just lazy. You're going to get a K.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be mad. And it's even if it's a small K, still not mad. It's just lazy. K. and I'm
See,
off
I've
to do
started with
something
just the
else.
thumbs up sign. That can't be offensive. I don't
I
think.
think it might be. I think it might be like, yeah, gotcha.
Sucker.
I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. But oh, it is so interesting though, because I feel as though just sitting and being in awareness of all of this
mhm.
is so powerful.
Yeah,
Even when we take ourselves out of the vortex for 18 hours, even when we are like telling ourselves stories and beating ourselves up, like when we can
mhm.
sit and go, huh, that's interesting that my brain would do that.
Yeah,
That's interesting that my body would respond in that way.
mhm.
What the living hell? That is a totally different vibration and a totally different awareness, I think, is key to everything than feeling as though we're justified in all those feelings and staying there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
And
there's a lot of people that do.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But how are they showing up in life? Because when we're a victim and we're pissed off and we're angry, we're not showing up our best selves. We're not,
Exactly.
we're not in it, and we're
Exactly.
missing it. And
Mhm.
I guess talking to you about this today, which is one thing I love about us, is our ability to talk about this kind of stuff. Because there's not a whole lot of people that I can be like, oh, I got out of the vortex this week.
And I will say yes, thankfully, because it wasn't
But
just me. Yeah.
right. But what you have really made me look at is the dopamine hit that that gave me. And I'm telling you, it was hit after hit after hit.
Mhm.
And I could feel there was something familiar about my reaction,
Nice.
but it's not me, not currently.
Right.
It's only,
Old.
it's my old response. Why do I care? Why would
Right.
I care? Um, Judgment is not truth.
Judgment is not truth.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And the other thing I think that I don't know if I mentioned this, but um years ago, when I was first year university, I was walking home and I was walking through the campus, and a person came up and tried to attack me and tried to push me into the bushes. Did I ever tell this story on the
I don't know
podcast?
if you told it on the air, but you have told me this, but tell it.
Um, and it was 4:30. There was very few people on campus, and at that time, I remember I looked in this person's eyes, and there was nothing there, like just like an evil in this person's eyes. And he was pushing me over towards this like wooded area, and a man came out of, like a student, I'm assuming, came out of the dentistry building, just God sent,
Mhm.
and yelled, "Hey buddy, what the fuck?" And this guy looked at me in the eyes, dropped his arms, and walked back. And at the time, I was like, I was terrified, but almost frozen. It seemed like everything was so slow, like, and I just kind of pushed it out of my mind. I didn't report it to anyone. I was 17 years old. I didn't report it to the campus. I didn't say anything. I went home, walked to my, walked back to my apartment, told my roommate, that was it. And then a few years ago, I had received a threat from someone, and this person had the same look. And what happened was I started having nightmares about the thing that happened
Yeah.
30 years before.
Mhm.
And but it was because the feeling was the same, the
Yeah.
look was the same, and I tied the two
Yeah.
together. and my response became compounded. And that's, I think, what happens sometimes, like, when you were just saying, the old Leigh
Yeah.
would have responded like that. Either the trigger or the feeling would have been exactly the same as something that you had experienced in the past. And then wham,
Yeah.
you respond in the same way.
Because we fill in the blanks that we don't know. Things that
Absolutely.
have happened from the past, especially when it's the same emotion.
Yes.
What answers we don't have, we just pull. This
Yes.
means this. It feels the same. It means
Yes.
this.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I just, it's just it's so amazing. Our minds and our bodies are
Yeah.
so amazing, aren't they? And
Yeah.
when we can sit in awareness and in an observance,
It's fascinating to
it
watch.
is fascinating.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think awareness and observance without judgment on
Correct.
ourselves.
Correct.
Because if we judge ourselves for feeling it, it's compounding the emotion. We might
Oh
as well
yeah.
just cement ourselves in.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And but it's more fun
It really is.
when when we can observe and go, that is so interesting.
It is.
That is fascinating. Because we are fascinating little creatures, and the
We
way we
are.
respond and the way we
Mhm.
look at life. And
And what was interesting too is when I could put the two situations together, and I realized, oh wait, I am having these dreams of the past because I just experienced the exact same emotion and feeling.
yeah,
The dream stopped. The dream stopped. Like that day, all of a sudden it was like, oh, that's why I'm thinking this. That's why the nightmare stopped. And so when you can connect the two, so if you can find the reason that you reacted this way, what
mhm,
happened to you in the past that gave you that exact same feeling, it's like this aha moment that Oprah talks about.
yeah,
And then you can release it.
yeah, yeah.
It's beautiful in a really bizarre way. But I find it fascinating and
But it's
beautiful
healing,
and
and
healing.
it's taking us
And
to the next level
absolutely.
so that we don't have to keep bumping up against the same things over
It's
and over again.
yeah. When we
Yeah,
can
is there
feel it
something
and
else
learn
that's going to
from
pop up to deal with? Uh-huh. Because it never
it.
ends. It's peeling that onion.
Yeah,
But that's what we came here to do.
absolutely.
And that's
What
part of
makes it fun?
I know. Because really, we could have very boring lives, you know,
Yeah.
just if there was no contrast, if it was the same every day, the same, but stretching and learning and growing and saying, this doesn't fit anymore. This doesn't
Yeah,
serve me anymore. This isn't helping me get to where I want to be. I need to release this. There's some power in that.
absolutely. I always say that life is not meant to be an assembly line of tasks.
Correct.
And I have spent some times, especially when the kids were younger, where it kind of felt like that.
Oh,
It
yeah,
kind of felt like, get
absolutely.
up, get them up, get them to school, make lunches, do all these things, go to work, come back. And it just felt like an assembly line of tasks. Like I was just
Endless to-do list.
Lucille Ball on the chocolate line, eating one out of every 10. And
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden I realized like there has to be more.
Mhm.
And that's when I really started to do more personal development, more work, more work on myself, and really a lot of mindset work. And once you start to dig into it, it just becomes so much fun and so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's where the power is.
Yeah,
And with that, we're out of time.
I think we are.
Yeah.
This was fun.
This was fun and very quick.
Mhm.
Thank you for the therapy session, Sandra.
Always. I
Appreciate
love
it.
it.
Well, have a great week. And thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye.
Bye.